We're shifting power, we're declaring a policy, and we're changing practices.
Frank Castelblanco is chairman of the board, the Health and Human Services Group, recognizing something structural in every aspect of life, something they say oppresses people of color.
It's a very strong word, but it's important because it's a system that has one group that benefits over another group.
Castelblanco says you can see the racism-health connection in the COVID-19 crisis. Buncombe County Hispanic Latinx residents make up 26% of those testing positive, but represent less than 7% of the population. For black people, 8.5% of the cases, 6.3% of the population. And Asians, nearly 10% of the positives, less than 1.5% of the population.
In terms of housing, where people live in close proximity to each other, in terms of food access, food insecurity is what it's called, those are things that have to be changed by shifting some of the power to community organizations that are able to do the work to actually level the playing field, to give more opportunities to people of color.
Women of color are more impacted by sexual violence at higher rates.
Angelica Wynn is executive director of Our Voice, Buncombe County's Rape Crisis and Prevention Center. Hers is likely one of those organizations that'll benefit.
By declaring racism a public health crisis, then that will be the start of trying to figure out, like, how do we allocate resources to these communities that are already doing the work, and how do we support organizations that are doing that work as well at the ground level.
It'll be a while before this happens, but it's important to start, and this is a very strong start.
Asheville City Attorney Brad Branham says it's no surprise groups like the North Carolina Division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans are challenging the possible removal of Confederate monuments. In a lengthy letter, the group states that because the Vance Monument is publicly owned, removing it would violate the Heritage Protection Act. In addition, a 2015 state law also requires approval from the North Carolina Historical Commission before a public monument can be removed. However, there are exceptions. Branham says privately owned monuments like the two others in Asheville are exempt from state law. Also exempt are any monuments deemed to be a public safety hazard.
This has become a focal point of protest on both sides of that argument. In many cases, there have been firearms present, and I would look to what the governor in the state did just last week, removing some Confederate monuments at the State House for this exact same reason.
Buncombe County Commission Chair Brownie Newman emailed this statement to News 13. Quote, the Asheville City Council and the Buncombe County Commission voted to create a community task force to get input from the public about the future of the Vance Monument. A final decision has not been made about whether to remove the monument or reclaim it or modify it to reflect our community's value of respect and to ensure a safe environment for everyone who lives in our community. We encourage anyone who has an interest on this to share their perspective with the community task force once it's appointed, end quote. Branham says that task force should be assembled within the next couple of weeks and make its recommendation within 3 months.
We're going to make sure we stay within the law and defend those rights as much as we need to.
Tonight, a family in Forest City is preparing to bury a 7-year-old killed in a drive-by shooting. Aaliyah Norris died last week after being shot in the head.
News 13's Stephanie Santastasi spoke with her mother and stepfather today about how they want people to remember their baby girl.
Balloons, flowers, and candles sit outside the intersection in Forest City where 7-year-old Aaliyah Norris was shot last Tuesday.
My innocent child had nothing to do with nothing.
Aaliyah's mother and her stepfather recall the moments leading up to what would be one of the worst days of their lives.
We was riding down the road. You don't never think of nothing like that.
It was just like a regular day, and she was eating ice cream, and it just happened.
As they were driving, Aaliyah's stepfather says they looked out and saw this man, Shaquille Marshawn Francis, holding a gun pointed at them.
I'm like, oh no, he's shooting. And by that time I tried to jump on Lee, but I threw my hand up, and our car stopped, and that's when a bullet came through the car window and I guess hit me and stuff.
It hit him in the hand and then hit Aaliyah.
Only thing I remember my baby saying was, ow, ow, ow.
She was rushed to the hospital, but didn't survive. This pink sign, Justice for Aaliyah, now stands tall in the family's front yard.
I don't even know the words to say. I just miss her so much. Like, it's been hard. It's been hard on everybody.
They say one of the few things getting them through, the memories of Aaliyah and the fun times they all shared.
She was always happy.
We used to have rap battles. She talked. I mean, she'd pick on you. You know what I'm saying? She was funny, man. She was one of a kind. I tell you that much.
Although this mom knows she'll never get her baby back, she hopes this community will take this message to heart as she prepares to bury her 7-year-old daughter.
Y'all out here just having violence for no reason. The violence has to stop, and it has to stop. It has to.